Hello, this is Cuberized, and welcome to my Craftoria Let's Play. We are in the magic area, and I've set up a little spot for ours, and places I can expand out to. Um, and I did this last episode. So one of the things I had set up at the top floor was a planting area, and I had gone through and made a lot of, uh, you know, not trees, but where are they at? And I may have them in storage. Let me go check. Yes, Mage Bloom flowers, and I have a few seeds. And then I have a lot of source berries. And I used those up above on the top floor because I knew I was going to need a bunch. But now I'm going to relocate all the farmland down here, as well as the market. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and get that all set up here real quick. And I'm mixing pylons with just dire things, with reliquary reincarnations. Uh, yeah, doing a bunch of different things here to get this to work out. Oh, and mob grinding utils. So I think I'm going to try to put it right here somewhere. And yeah, give me a moment, I'll get it set up. And as I said, the most of the magic stuff is over here. Villagers are up on the next level up and on this level, and then the Ars stuff will be there. And I'll just keep moving this direction with all the work I'm going to be doing. I didn't want to put the planting here just because I figured it might be a little too crowded. But I'll be right back. Okay, I've set up the area. I put the water in the middle. I just put the market over here. So it is accessible but tucked out of the way a little bit. All right, so I am going to put the harvester pylon in here. I'm going to put the lily pad of fertility on top. I am then going to put a barrel, which will be above it, because this does take up a spot, so this will go to the next full block above it. And then I can put on an absorption hopper and configure that so that, let me actually get my bearings here, that is east, so that east is taking in items, and if I do it correctly you'll see that it forms this, which it did, which is great. And there we go, get that out of the way, which actually may have gone in, there it is. So that's a quick test to make sure it's working, is that you break something and it goes in there. So the idea is that with the harvest pylon will break the crops and the absorption hopper will gather them. And with that method working the way it does, I don't need to put a hoe in there. So, and speaking of which, I'm using an Eclipse alloy hoe, which is the highest tier of Just Dire things. This tier up here, using this Eclipse alloy to make, I've had the hoe, I've already made it because I worked through Just Dire things, but it makes this gray farmland. And with that, yeah, it's the fourth tier, so it actually is a very fast cropland. So between that and the fertility, this will be very handy to have. and I'll finish this up. I'll be right back. Okay, the farmland is all done and it's getting saturated with water, so it's turning a darker color, which is great. I'm going to go over here and we're going to talk about some of the starter things with Ars. So, we've done we did the welcome quest and the novice spellbook and the mage spellbook, which is the tier 2 book. Archwood is just trees that you can find out and about. There's an entire forest biome that you can find that's just filled with these trees, and it's very colorful. I have actually found, for the trees, you can actually even find the wood products when you find an Ars portal, which is a very small structure that has a portal in it, and it comes with a chest and a random scroll that will take you to someplace interesting. So you can find source blocks there, you can find plants there, including the source berry bush. So as you're progressing through the game, you will find these trees, you can find the portals. There's a giant tower that has a massive tree on top. That's plenty of, you get plenty of wood products there, as well as source blocks and that type of thing. So do that and you will get these fruits as well from trees. Actually, that's the last one is there. So there's lots of opportunities to get stuff. So just getting through you just need these to be able to complete the quest. And there. I've gathered up quite a bit of this, so, and the nice thing is when you complete this with any kind of archwood, you get a full set of these saplings. So if you didn't have them all, you will now. And there we go. And then the next thing has to do with the source berry, which again you can find and gather as you go along through the game. What I want to do here though is I have a bunch, and I think you just have to have some to get yeah, you just need to have something in your inventory that's source berry and it will count this, and then you get some random reward, which I got silver. Okay. These are all necessary things as basic resources for Ars. And then you can actually use the berries as berries and create some things. So there's a sourceberry pie and there is a sourceberry roll. Those are easy enough to make. I think it's technically there's a space in there. Yeah. So this is the pie, egg, sugar, mage bloom, and the berries, which actually if I'm going through here, I should be able to craft, and I can. It actually is a pretty good food item, and it gives you mana regen, which is really what you want it for, not so much for the fact that it's a food item. And this is even easier to craft, and it also grants mana regen. So when you're planting in here with items, you can throw in some wheat so that you can actually make these sourceberry rolls. Next, so that gets us here. Random item, I got redstone dust, and here, a random reward, more redstone dust. Alright, so the Scribes Table is used to actually create the glyphs that are in. See, you can find these codex entries, the things that look just like this, and when you right click it, you will learn a random tier 1 glyph, assuming it says tier 1 glyph. That's the most common thing you're going to find. If you need one and you don't have it, you can actually go ahead and make them. So yeah, yeah, you can find them in structures. There's so this is literally telling you go loot some stuff. So the more exploring and looting you do, the better you are for all these things because of all the different things you can find, not only for ours, but for relics and artifacts and armor and weapons and tools and all that stuff. So the Scribes table is this thing here. Now I got lucky and found a Scribes table. Let me actually put this back in here, and I will put this away. And in fact, let me put that away as well, and I'll put this junk away. Okay, so all I need to do is I place this, but all I need to do is pick it up and I will get credit for it, and I can put it down again, which I think I want to put it this way. No, I want it the other way. When you go to place it, if I placed it here, it would literally go this direction, so I kind of want to hit, let me get up here. I want to hit this at an angle. There we go. Yeah, then the ink and quill, or the quill stand is here and the ink is here. It doesn't really matter. But that's it there. So if I take my mage book and I never cast a spell, but I get to see all the glyphs that I have in the book. When you click your mage book or whichever Ars spell book you have onto the table, you get to see your glyphs. Now I can sort them by tier, or I can see all of them. And I have no tier 3. I only just recently got a tier 2 glyph. My very first was heal. So I have these. So if I wanted this and I don't have this, you can make this by giving the table these items. So this is a target and this is a source gem, and I can get Ray. So let me go get that. So I don't know if I have a target. I may have picked one up somewhere along the way. Yes, I do. So target and a source gem, which I have plenty of those. Maybe I probably are in here somewhere. Yeah, that's the first one you start with. This is actually there's my source gems. Yeah. So if you, and I want to make sure I do this the right way. So, sorry, going back to the Tattered Tome. This is kind of the instruction manual for Ars, and it'll actually help you go through these things. So, this actually will tell you all about the, like I'm looking at the tier 1 glyphs. So I'm going to do Ray, and this gives you more information about Ray as instantaneously strikes the pointed at target. So yeah, so if you want to do a spell that you heal a target or you can attack a target, this is a good way to get Um, yeah, it's better for than touch because touch means you have to be right near them within interaction range, and this will be a distance. Um, so this is why this is helpful, and again, it shows you that these are the two items that we need to get this glyph. So hopefully I am going to do this right, and this is kind of in the way. And no, that's not what I wanted. Hold on. Let me get this out of the way here. Just in fact, actually, let me move this out. And this is yep, I might just move this over here. It gives me a little bit more room. So again, both these tables work the same way. So if you go kind of at an, let's do it here. I want it to go this way. Place it there, and I want this one to go this way. And if you weren't here, I could move the table. Okay, I got rid of the iron golem out of the way. Okay, so we have the Scribes Table. You take your spell book and you click on the table. Now we were looking at Ray, and I want to do Ray. And again, we said these are the two items. So when you select this and you see the two items and you have them, you can go ahead. Oh, the other thing is I grabbed some experience out of my hero's medallion because this does take experience. It actually says it takes 3 levels. This would take 10, this would take 5, etc. So you have to have these experience levels. When you have this and you have the experience and the items, you click select, and then you can see the items floating above, and you just toss them, and then they will disappear, and then the graphic starts. So it's very cool, and then you get it, and when you get it, you can learn it. Sorry, the spell's extra. But it'll say down in the bottom corner, unlocked Ray. So now when I go ahead and not jump on the table here, but when I go over here, I now have Ray. And you can go through and do all of this. So again, if you're looking to see what you have and what you don't have, this is one of those things where you can see what you're missing and what you might want to do. Like freeze here takes 3 levels, which is nice. It's not bad. And it freezes water or lava or slows a target. Now, that sounds really nice if you can freeze a target so that you can have some crowd control. But to do that, you're going to need this water essence and 2 snow blocks. Well, 2 snow blocks, you just go to the snow and you can get snowballs and make snow blocks. That's not a concern. It's the water essence. So this is where we get to something else that we need to work on, which is actually a machine. And I'm still not happy with this, so now that the iron golem is gone, I can do that. Get it a little bit more centered. Same with this. Okay. So, yeah, looks better. So from a standpoint of quests, let's go here. Now, why you want these things to begin with? Oh, I get another codex. And I get a random tier 1 glyph. So the nice thing about this is it keeps track of what glyphs you already know, so it won't give you the same one. So when you get the random glyph, it's a random one that you don't have. So I have summon wolves. You can see that in the bottom left of the screen. And yeah, that, so if I actually went in here, that's probably summon wolves right there. Good guess with the wolf head. Yep. So it's just resources I didn't have to spend to actually make that scroll. And if there's a key scroll like Ray, like you really need to have or want to have, you can always craft it. Now, why these are important is, I didn't mean to click there, I meant to click here. You can actually create spells with these up to, yeah, quite a few of these characters. So this is Ray and this is overhead, and I don't see that I have a lot of other ones like that. But let's say you want to do a mage light overhead, or mage light Ray. So you can literally conjure a mage light and target it at a distance and push it, you know, send it out, and it will be like you're throwing candles around or throwing torches, which is a very handy thing to have in a cave, and you don't have to then carry stacks and stacks of torches. You can actually use mage lights. But with some of these things, you're going to need an imbuement chamber. So let's go back here. So these are all the tier 1 glyphs, and we just did. Where's the wolf? We got the wolf. Summon the wolf, and we just did Ray. So if you get all of these done, then you actually will get a random reward. It's optional, because you're finding a lot of these. You know, it's not going to be necessarily something you're going to complete, because if you find it, it doesn't count. These all don't count. This one does, because I did this one because it's a very simple one with just a crafting. You just need a crafting table to do it, so it's simple to do. But yeah, if you're not going to actually sit down and power through and craft all of these, you won't get this. And tier 3 are very few, but very powerful. So this will give you some examples of yeah, this is okay, well, this is getting into an enchanted crossbow that we don't want to get into. But we've done this to understand the concept of glyphs. And you need one form per spell, and so that is talking about ray or touch or that type of thing. That's a form. Basically how the spell is going to be formed, I guess, is a way to explain it. And then augments, you can have more than one, and effects, you can have more than one. But if you're doing something, again, simple like ray, mage light, the form is the ray. And then you can actually figure out what the cost of the spell is. Because the more complex something is, the more mana it's going to take to cast. But we did talk about imbuement chambers, and here it is. Let's go ahead and create this. So this is relatively straightforward. You need archwood planks and gold ingots. I have archwood planks because it's one of those things that you can pick up again at various Ars structures, and as well as, you know, cut down a tree and make planks. So let's go into here. So here it is. And there's the imbuement chamber. Ta-da! Okay. So we'll get that. Random reward. So in the placement of this, to set this up, you put an imbuement chamber down and then you surround it with pedestals. So yeah, we might just put it here. So if I put this here, then I would put the pedestals around it. So let's figure out how to make the pedestals. And there they are. And this is gold nuggets, which we have, source stone, and source gems. Now I don't have that many source gems, but I do have source stone. And part of that reason is I was picking it up as I was traveling from the various Ars structures in anticipation of doing Ars. And there we go. And we will do 8 of these. And let's try that again. And there we go. There's our 8. There. And yeah. And they're all pretty purple and gold. So it's very nice. The planting area, let's think about that for a second. And I have in here, I have a bunch of things. I don't think I actually have the seeds in here. I think I have them in my inventory. Yeah. In fact, I don't want to do this. I want to do this. So here are Mage Bloom seeds, and here are there's source berries. I may actually have, excuse me, I may actually have some sourceberry plants upstairs. I will go look for them later. But yeah, one of the things we want is something called, it's from Ars, this thing. And the reason for this is a way to gather source. And we can do that also. And we need a jar. And I think that's a containment jar. That's not it. Source jar. That's what we need. And I think I actually already have one in my goodies that I found. That's the containment. There it is, source jar. So I can and I'm not sure where the best place is to put this, but let's try. And I don't think these have to be right next to each other. So the idea behind this is there's a few different ways to get source. This method actually, and it should be one of the early ones here. Oh, yeah. Let's make that too. This thing, yeah, is a helpful tool to find things. So it makes you can find amethyst. Yeah, 75 blocks is not insignificant. And if there's anything else that's budding, it will find that as well. Now we do have citrine and what is the other one? Yeah, this one has a budding one. It's the new Spectrum. Oops, I should do this with this. So yeah, so there's topaz and citrine and onyx and moonstone. So these are budding blocks from Spectrum. This will help us find those as well as amethyst. So I'm going to go ahead and plant this. This is in a 9 by 9, so it won't go past 9 by 9, but I will go ahead and get these planted. And you can see we already have, oh, my bubble effect is taking effect. I don't want to get involved with that. There it is. Because I'm too close, it's my bubble effect is catching things. But you can see the pink streams of light going to the aggro. I really don't want to call it a machine, but the aggro block, and then from there it's sending the source to the tank. And so that's happening. And for some reason this is, I'm probably here, that's why I'm getting it. So let me put this here. Let me grab these real quick. So the idea behind this is we want to gather source and other things. We want to actually get the output as well. And because of the fertility, sorry, there's so many bubble effects going on. I'm going to pause and just get this done. Okay, I haven't even planted the whole thing here, and between the better soil and the fertility lily pad there, I have a full jar here. So I'm going to go ahead and craft up a couple more jars because sure, why not, right? I didn't actually craft the first one, I found it. So let's actually look at what the crafting is. So it's more planks, and it's actually slabs and glass, which I have. Let me see how many. Let me grab the actual wood here. Here's slabs. Here's some wood. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. And let's make a couple more of these. Okay, and I'll put this stuff away so we don't have to worry about that. Alright. And of course I'm picking up everything here. Yeah, this is going so quickly, it's unreal. So those will be, I mean, it's very, very fast. And because of that, because you're dealing with growth, those jars are going to get filled up. So I'm going to have so much source, so I don't even need that big of an area because of how fast it's generating source. So if I wanted to go down to something a little smaller, like a 5x5, that would work. And I have more of this stuff. So you taking advantage of some of these things where not having to deal with the hoe and using like a vacuum absorption hopper onto a barrel works really well. And then you also have the better soil and the lily pad of fertility. Makes this whole thing just insanely powerful. Alright, so where that leaves us here is we've done the dowsing rod. We get 2 random items. I got lead and lapis. So we're talking about source gems. So you put lapis or amethyst inside an imbuement chamber, which is this thing here, and you get, and conveniently I just got it, you get source gems. You can find source gems as well. You can see here that this is not moving very quickly. Okay, so if I take this, I actually hope this does not lose its source when I pick it up. I don't think it does, but we'll see here. So if I move this over here, there. Oh, and my bubble effect is interfering with things. But let's do this again with another piece of lapis. And it says it's pretty much done. So that's pretty fast. Yeah, just because it's utilizing source. So again, good reason to have this set up is it will work very quickly to create you some source gems if you have access to source. And this also does work with, depending on how much you have. If you have a lot of, if you found an amethyst, if you found amethyst and you have a lot of it and you don't have a lot of lapis, then use amethyst. Otherwise use lapis. Whatever you have. I have 3,000 plus lapis. Of course, I'm also not starting out. I'm not doing this on day one. I have, you know, quite a few amethyst, quite a few amethysts, but I do not have as much as I have lapis, but I'm just showing you here that it does work. And there we go. There's a source gem made from amethyst. So either way, whichever is easier, whichever one you find you have more an abundance of and aren't going to be using as much of. And there's that. So there you go. With that, and that gets us to getting some more rewards. But this is where you get your source jar, which we just made. And I'm pretty sure if I just pick this up, I will get credit for it. Yeah. Put that back down. So this is how to store your source energy, and this is how you can generate it. It's by doing this near things that are growing. Source relays are helpful because it allows you to move source around, so I don't have to go and pick up a jar and then move it. So to do that, let's go into here. So if I take this and make a block of this, sorry, it's 4, not 9. You get a source gem block. So that's an easy way to do that. And then if you take that and put it with some gold, you can make this source relay. And let me tuck all this stuff back in here. Way too much stuff. So I have another source jar. Now I've used some source here. Let me put this back up over here, and that will fill up with source. So if I want to get source from either there or one of those jars here, I can use this source relay. Because this is too far away to get it. And I'm again getting too close to that, and I'm getting stuff stuck in my inventory. So how to do this? You need a domination wand, so we will go ahead and get that. It's kind of like the wrench of Ars. So this is an advanced version of it, so we can upgrade it. So you have to go to your enchanting apparatus, which we have not crafted yet because this is the imbuement chamber. So we want to do that. Let's do a okay. I'm calling it the wrong thing. Let's do this. Oh, and I get another source relay. And the gem block, and I did that. Okay. Accidentally, purely by accident. Alright. So, yes. Let's... so we need this to make this. We need this. And to make that, it is that. So it's an enchanting apparatus. And there's, yeah, there's, so let's go into where I actually have all my stuff. This is how you make items. Enchanting apparatus. And then let's go put this that there. And it looks similar to this. This is more, it almost looks like it's curling up inwards this way, and this is going down and flaring out. But again, it's the same purple and gold. And I'm gathering stuff again. So, let me come back over here away from the garden. The nice thing is the garden will do its thing and you don't have to actually do anything for it. So let's go take a look here. With this, so we're into the crafting and automation. So we have the imbuement chamber, and it is this, and then you can, this is where you convert your lapis to your source gem, or your amethyst, or you can do actual blocks. Block of amethyst will get you that. So you can go right to the block form. And when you have to craft these other essences that you need, fire, earth, air, water, because we saw this was needed, you use the imbuement chamber, and you use whatever items are, you know, here with a source gem to get this. So that's conjure, abjuration. These are the different schools. This is animals and manipulation. So these are all created with the imbuement chamber. Now to do things with the enchanting apparatus, we also need these pedestals. In fact, this probably doesn't need quite as many pedestals, so I'm going to temporarily borrow some of these. I can make more of these later. So let's put these around, and there they are. Probably need to take that down so it isn't in the way. Alright, so here is my... That's just going crazy. In fact, let's do this. Yeah, I think smaller is going to be the way to go, just so I'm not... Okay, I think I'm far enough... Nope. Am I far enough away now? Yeah. Okay. So we have the enchanting apparatus and then the thing. So if we want to make that rod to be able to set this up, this is this here. So we need a stick, which goes in the center one, and then I need gold and 2 source gems. So and a stick. Okay. Oh, I missed a step. Arcane core. There it is. Yeah, I should have everything for that. Okay. And where is my, there it is. Okay, there we go. Now it's going to do this lovely animation where it spins, and if it works, when it stops, I will get my domination. There it is. And there we have it. This is the domination wand. So what we want to do now is, this is other ways to generate source. This is the one I did, and it's working right now. You can do things with potions. You can do things food related. You can do things that are animal related, and then you can do things with lava. And there's different sort of things to keep in mind when you're doing these. I find that the easiest one to do is that one, especially if you have ways you can oomph your growth on the plants, because it's just it's going like crazy and it can generate a lot of source. So let's yeah, I'm going to, so if I want to get source over here, let's put wait until my spell's done. Let's see if this is set here. Alright. Moment, I'm obviously shift clicking the wrong way. Or clicking the wrong way. So the source relay, there it is. Yep, source jars, there we go. Ah, doing it backwards. Do it on the jar first. Okay, so we're going to do jar. Okay, so then it says taking from location 1, and then you click the jar first and then there. Right? Yeah, so we're taking from there. And now I think I've confused it. And I've confused myself. Let's try this again. Ah, okay. Starting all over. So, jar, sorry, jar, relay, relay, jar. And we can just break this, and we're going to start all over again. Because I'm sure that I confused it. So we go from jar to relay. And nope, it didn't take it. Let's try taking from this jar. There we go. Nope, that's sending. Okay, it might be also that it is too close and I'm not hitting it correctly. This could be, it's probably very much a me thing, so let's definitely try this one more time. So connections are cleared. Okay, so we have no connections. So, which by the way is a shift right click on the relay. So if I right click the relay and then right click there, this is where we're sending it to. And then if I right click the jar, and there, I'm taking it. Okay, that works. Now let me get away from it. There it is. Okay. And then that should fill up. Yep. All right, so it's working. So if you right click on a jar, it's the source. If you right click on the relay and then click the jar, that's the destination. So jar to source is where you're getting it from, and source to jar is the destination. So as you see, this is filled up and this is filled up, and we are good. And yes, I'm sure I've filled my inventory up with a billion things here. All right, so that is just the very, very basics about generating source and moving source around. Yeah, so we've done a little bit here in terms of getting through this. We've not really actually crafted any spells yet, so we want to be able to do that and go ahead and create some more of these Ars devices. So, and this is once you get the Enchanting Apparatus going, there's a number of things we can do, including what I just did, which is this wand. So, kind of approaching this, kind of jumped ahead, I guess, is what I'm going to say here. I jumped ahead a little bit to do that. And yeah, this is actually, if you have one of these, you can make a bunch of source stone. I have a ton of source stone, so I don't really need it, but I will go ahead and craft it so that we have it available to us. And there we go. More source stone. Again, running around and having the opportunity to gather up a bunch of resources really makes this a lot easier because, yeah, you can actually save time that way by actually already having these. And I just crafted these up, and I'm going to pick them up so I get credit for crafting them. Kind of crafted out of order, but that's okay. And now I can put them back down again. So if I need another relay, I can use it. And yeah, I don't really need it at the moment, so let me tuck it away. Put that away, and that. I will put these back out there. And it doesn't matter how you put them out. In fact, I may create more. But that's those. So there we are. I hope you found this helpful, even if a little bit confusing. Sorry, the right and left clicking, I always have to look it up. And yeah, we got through it. So you have some new food items, you have some easy way to generate source. Definitely take advantage of the other mods in this pack to make the lily pad of fertility and the harvest pylon and the absorption, or set it up a different way. Set it up a way that works best for what it is you're working on. If there's other ways you want to use to harvest and help maximize growth here, take advantage of it. Love to hear what ways you use. Please let me know down below. And yeah, hopefully you can get a setup going like this, just to generate more source than you know what to do with. Yeah, so we have all this source available to us. I hope you found this useful. Toss me a like if you did, if you enjoyed the episode, and subscribe to get alerted to new content. For any questions or comments, toss them down below, and I do read and reply to everything. So take care, everyone, and see you at the next one. Cuberized, signing off.